Today we won't hold back, but we will attack decisively and with the boldest opening, the bishop opening. And I always start with the move e4 and e5 and play as white. After that we develop the bishop early better than the knight. And they develop the knight, we develop a knight, and it's kind of similar to the Italian game. We just develop the bishop, and at this moment we will strike in with our traps, moving the pawn to d3 and preparing for pawn to f4. But if we don't do that, we could just move the pawn to f4 early. That is a great move, and you can do many things after that. For example, if they capture, we can just push a pawn to the square d4, attacking the bishop and using our bishop for development and capture their pawn again. And at this moment we can even push the pawn up. We can push both the e or d pawn. Both are effective, but you can play, I think a better move is just kick the knight. And as you can see, it can't move to h5 or in the center because it is blocked by our bishop and our queen. Their knight route is not available, so they need to retreat, and their position is undeveloped. We just push our pawn and strike their center again. Their bishop needs to retreat, and we'll capture the pawn easily. After that, we can develop our knight, and yeah, they are pretty much dead in this position. What if they move the queen, pinning our pawn to the king? Then we'll have another move. Of course, every move they made will be different, so we have another different route to defend it. We're gonna bring our queen into the center, protecting the pawn while still attacking the knight, and yeah, the knight needs to retreat again. So we can strike with pawn to d4 and attacking the bishop while attacking the pawn again and develop our bishop. Yeah, we are pretty much winning in this position because we have most of the piece developed. We can even play knight takes, our knight move onto f3, controlling the center pawn, and if they check us, we can use our knight to capture it. So yeah, this knight move is very effective, and you can see they can't capture because the normally square is knight to f6 is blocked. And if they play this move, we can take the pawn, and most people will take with the queen. Most people will take with the queen and capture our queen back. So yeah, we won't play that move, but we'll play knight attack in center while friend a fork, a deadly fork, and they need to retreat because their king is gonna get forked with the rook, and if they make the wrong move, maybe the queen too. So if they protect that, we will have a strong move. Knight takes on c7, sacrificing knight, and if they capture back with the queen, we'll get a discover check with a queen capture after that, and they are dead. Yeah, they can't even block, or they can block with the piece, but the queen is going to get captured on the next move. So at this position we move and we back to this position. If we try to attack their knight and they try to attack our bishop, it'll kind of get messy because it's pretty weird in this position because both sides are attacking each other. So we can develop our pawn on d4, friend the bishop, and controlling the center. If they pin our knight, we can just move. We have a lot of moves after that. We can capture the pawn, we can attack the bishop, we can defend the bishop, and we can develop the other knight. And after that, we're gonna castle and even capturing their pawn. So if they capture our knight, they can capture in the center. So we're gonna reunite the knight. So if they try to capture the pawn in the center, it is free, of course. So most people will take the pawn in the center and add another defense on another attacker on the knight. But while we can castle, and we can even capture the pawn on f4, or we can push our pawn up. And yeah, most people will try to take the pawn, free pawn in the center, but we just don't care about the knight. Most people will capture the knight. After that, the bishop needs to retreat because we just made a trade. So they are up in this position. But if they move back, for example, protecting the pawn like that, we can just sacrifice the bishop on f7, so they can't castle. Most people will take it. After that, we'll take with our knight with the pawn. So we have a very deadly fork, a deadly discovered check behind the knight, and we can even move our queen to check them. So if they capture our knight like this, we can check with our queen, or we can just capture with our rook. Mostly we need to check with our queen. After check, we're gonna check one more time on d5. After that, we check the queen and checkmate, kind of like the Scots mate, but with the rook. So what if they move their rook in the f file and trying to make a manual castle, make a move to castle like that? Then we will sacrifice our knight, and most people will capture a free knight. Yeah, that's a free knight, of course. And they're gonna move their king to e6. After that, we checked with the pawn. Our son move. They need to move back, and we check like this. We check one more time with our queen, and it's a checkmate. So this bishop opening is very deadly. Let's move back to the beginning. They attack our pawn, and we're gonna strike in the center with pawn to d4. It's a different time. This a different path this time, and they have two options: capture our pawn with knight, or capture our pawn with their pawn. If they capture with the knight, we will capture back with the capture back their pawn and controlling the square, that control their back square. So most people will develop. For example, they develop their bishop, then we'll move our queen to d5, forking their piece, and after that a checkmate. So they won't play that. What if they fork our piece? If they fork our piece like this while capturing the pawn, we shouldn't do that, because they have a deadly move after that, moving the queen into the center and try to fork us and capture our bishop back. So they are up in material, so we won't capture, but we are friend checkmate, moving the queen to d5, and they can move their queen into the center to protect, but the knight is hanging. So yeah, what if they play a move like this, preparing a square for their king to run? We'll just check them like that, and we still have a pin. Their queen is pinning their knight, and after the knight take our rook, we're gonna get checked. So after that, we'll move knight to f3, attacking the queen while capturing. So if they check us like this, double check us, we can't capture their queen, but we need to move. After we move, what they're gonna do next? The piece is hanging. So if they move back to the position to focus again, we can just move back, or we can move to the e2 square, and once again that piece is under attack and in danger. So if they capture in the center, we can just capture a free knight. And if they capture the pawn on c2, yeah, if they check us with a bishop, it won't do anything, because that move is useless. There's a checkmate coming, so if we move out, they try to attack our queen. We have a move that is bishop checking them, and they now two of our pieces in danger, but we don't care, we just check them, and actually it's a checkmate. After that, we capture with our bishop and checkmate. Easy checkmate and easily to be done.